When we come with that heat, we got skip on the.
Ever since McNeese beat Clemson, my bracket's been cooked.
Bro, since Creighton beat Louisville, my bracket's been cooked.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in that whole stadium would think that he was about to pull that shot. I think Chaz Lanier, you would need to go on a hot streak. Dalton Connect was just always hot. Like, pause.
He give you that look afterwards, after he just hit a shot. Well, Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple are about to end that, and it's going to be Duke versus Florida.
Yeah.
If you're harping on the past, that means you're not looking forward to the future. That's a bar. Episode 26, $1 Million Radio. We got all the boys in here with us today. Well, not in here. It's, me. We got Griffin in the studio. And where'd you
Take
go?
him somewhere.
Where'd he go? Jacob Fine, everybody. Yeah, hey, welcome back, Jacob. Welcome back. You seem a little down, Jacob. What's going on?
Oh, man. Well, honestly, my mental health was riding on the Kentucky game. And
yeah, we got that one though.
That win went so good. I would have been happy if we ended the season there. But as you know, you win a game, you keep advancing. And if you lose a game, you're done. And that's what Tennessee ended up doing. They won one, went on to the next round, and met Houston. Slow start, man. They came back to haunt us. There's been a few times in the season where we started slow, and we've been able to creep out of it, but you can't do it with a 1 seed.
Yeah.
I
mean, it happened to the Lady Vols. Same thing on Saturday. They couldn't hit the side of a barn from three-point land.
They lost by, 4?
Yeah. If we would have hit 3 more threes, we would have, 4 more threes, we would have had that in the bag because Texas couldn't hit nothing there for 10 minutes in the second half.
But shout out to Houston. Give your props to the Houston Cougars. They were the rightful number 1 seed in the Midwest bracket, Midwest region. But a little bit too much for the Volunteers. We played with them in the second half, but those first 10 minutes of the game, they were like a boa constrictor. No matter what we did, we really couldn't get any open shots. And even when we did get open shots yesterday, they did not fall. They held us 1 of 15 from the 3-point line in the first half. And we only scored 15 points in the first half. We were down, 34?
Like Clemson.
Yeah, you can't. Clemson. You can't win any game going down. That
was the lowest a number 2 seed has ever scored in the first half in history.
That was also the lowest total for a team in the first half in the Elite 8 round. So we're setting records still, boys, but not the good kind. Although Zakai did end up taking the assist total record for the SEC, so great job, Zakai. Breaking Sean Tuohy's record from 1980. That's a record that stood for 45 years that is now held by the Kai 5, Zakai Ziegler. But
we got to give Mashack and Zakai, man. They're the 2
These
greatest Vol players.
Statues.
The best Vol duo of all time is what Rick Barnes said.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. I mean, they're not the best player, of course. You got Allen Houston and all those other greats, but Tobias Harris.
Bert Ernie back in the day.
Yeah.
But regardless, them as a duo, man, there's nothing that'll ever come close, in my opinion. It'll take a lot for another duo for them to match what Zakai and Mashack brought to the culture.
Whether or not you believe they're the best Vol duo of all time, they are the winningest Vol duo of all time for the Tennessee Volunteers. But so, boys, the season's over. The Final Four is set. Tennessee is not there. It is a group of 1 seeds. All 4 1 seeds made it to the Final Four.
Chalk.
The haters are pissed.
Yeah.
Chalk. Hey, that means we have great basketball coming up. It's been great basketball the whole time.
There's only 3 games left, boys, and the college basketball season will be over. I'm not sure how we're going to do next week's episode because the championship game will be on Monday night. We normally film on Mondays. I don't see a reason for us to film Monday morning and then, wait a whole nother week to talk about the game. So next week's episode may be a couple days later than normal, but
we'll do a watch party.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that turns out next week. But so the season's over, boys. How do we feel about the season? We're graded. We did this with the football season as well. How do you grade this season? A to F. What do we say? A plus, A minus.
No. There's no A plus. You have to win a championship for it to be A plus.
Or
I give it an A minus from how we shot the ball yesterday.
Yeah, A minus. That sounds about. It was great. It was an S tier or A tier season.
Yeah,
great. How would you do it, Skylar?
I would give it an A. I don't even know if I'd give it an A minus. I would probably give them an A plus if we won yesterday and then maybe lost in the Final Four. I don't see us beating Duke.
Yeah, they seem unstoppable.
I don't see anyone beating Duke unless it's Florida.
I'm interested in this Houston and Duke matchup because if they can play defense as well as they have all year, Houston that is, they may be able to do something against Duke. And I'm rooting for Houston in this game. I like that team. I like their coach. He's good friends with Rick Barnes. What is it? Kelvin Sampson is his name.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he seems like a pretty good guy and is running his team the right way for sure. But man, Houston was just, I was very optimistic going into this game. I felt like it was a pretty good matchup. Two of the best defenses. The over-under was set at 123.5 and it ended up, going under. 119 was the total yesterday.
Yeah.
But I was really optimistic about the matchup and what we could do in this Elite Eight round, maybe get into our first ever Final Four. And then the game tipped off. And shortly after tip-off, I realized I just kind of want this game to be over. It was not looking good at all. I think they jumped. It was they hit the 20s before we got more than 4 points.
Yeah, it was it had to be 23-7.
And two of our points of the 4 came at the free throw line. So they held
Mashack missed a bunch of free throws too.
Yeah.
Three in a row. He missed 2. There was a lane violation. He got one more and missed that one. So
had to be nerves.
It could be nerves, but also I guess both teams have to play on that court in that stadium. But it was a football arena. We saw it at the beginning of the Kentucky game too.
Yeah.
People from both sides were just missing the goal in general. A lot of air balls, but I think some of that depth perception was messing with us yesterday. But you get an option to get out there and warm up and start hitting those shots. But I don't want to make the excuse of the depth perception playing in the Lucas Oil Stadium where the Colts play more than just Houston's defense yesterday. I mean, they were so good.
Well, Houston was playing an away game, and they had to deal with the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're obviously the better team.
And the sharpshooter there at the end that hit 3 threes in a row. Tennessee was really starting to make a comeback. We brought it down to a 10-point deficit. I was really wanting to see us get below 10 points, but that never happened. I can't remember his name, but he came out, hit 3 threes
Williams,
in a row.
Yeah, something like that.
Number 12. He came out. He was 1 of 7 beyond the 3-point line, and then hit 3 in a row. That really just put the game away. We ended up losing by 19, which was the deficit at the half. So I'm gonna be honest. If you line up these two teams, play a 10-game series, I think Houston beats us more than we beat them. But I don't think there's gonna be a game where we shoot and get 15 points in the first half. It was very unfortunate that happened on the biggest stage that Tennessee basketball has gotten to.
Was it Cryer? Was it Cryer that hit those daggers, or was it Sharp? It was one of those two.
Sharp, yes, it was Sharp. The sharpshooter, right. Yeah.
He was 21. He was 21.
Yeah,
he was 4 for 10 from 3.
He has some nice tats too.
And it just okay, but it just wasn't. It just wasn't at the right time. Like it seemed like, Jordan Gainey, he would be the MVP if there was one for the losing side.
Yeah.
He was the most valuable player. But every time we made an advancement, it was almost like the Florida SEC championship. Every time we would cut the lead down,
every shot immediately.
Exactly. And Cryer came out, or Sharp came out and hit, like you said, it was like 2 or 3 in a row right when we needed them to miss and we needed like 2 or 3 stops in a row. And instead they hit 2 or 3 threes. And that was just it. That was the casket closed. So
yeah. And it was kind of fitting, if you want to say that, or unfitting, that we lost to a team the same way that we have beaten so many teams this year. Just shut them down defensively. Not the best scoring team, but hit some shots when it matters. Was able to go on a run. I mean, we saw that in the UCLA game. We saw it in the Kentucky game in the Sweet 16. Just a stifling defense, and we were able to go on really all season. All we've had to do is play good defense and go on 1, maybe 2 runs in the game, and then that would be the deciding factor. But just to see us lose in that fashion was it was a hard pill to swallow for sure.
Yeah, Houston did to us what we did to Kentucky. That's a good parallel.
Yeah. But I guess we can put the finishing touches on this basketball season. No more Zakai Ziegler going forward. No more Jamai Mashack. Jordan Gainey. I'm pretty sure Igor Milicic was a senior as well. Chaz Lanier. We're losing a lot. Hopefully we get to keep Felix Okpara. Darlin Stone Dubar. Well, we ain't going to be...
He's a senior.
Yeah, we ain't going to be missing much from him, but...
Hey, man, glue guy. He was my dude. He was my dude coming in. I'm telling you, and Felix Okpara, of course, he's a junior. So
okay, so that's good.
We'll have JP back next year. We'll have Phillips back next year.
Yeah.
If Felix Okpara can take, if he chooses to stay and can take a step forward offensively, he was already great with putbacks this year, but he averaged 7 and 6. So if he could take a step forward in the offensive realm, almost like Adu did with a bigger role at Arkansas. If he can get more of a role here offensively, then he could get some good draft stock. So
another thing Houston did great yesterday, and something that they've done all season, was the tip outs on the offensive glass. They were so good at just keeping guys on the perimeter and having their big guys down low just slap the ball out. And there were so many times that happened. There were so many times that they just got a fortunate bounce to get another offensive rebound and put back. It was a tough game to watch, man.
They had 14 offensive rebounds, but we had 12 ourselves. But overall, we lost the entire rebound battle, 42 to 35. So they out rebounded us. They had more assists than us.
Shot better than us.
Obviously,
there's just no way you can win.
Yeah.
Yep. Our 3-point percentage was abysmal. It was 17%. I think we started like 0 and 15, maybe.
Yeah.
So
it was probably bad.
It was a bad night. Yeah, it was a bad shooting night.
I really hated that game tipped off at 2:20 too.
Yeah.
I was really hoping it was like in the 5 o'clock slot, like Saturday's Elite 8 games. I'm not saying that's why we lost or anything. It was just, as a fan, I was at work having to watch that, so definitely put me in a bad mood at work. I'm not gonna lie.
Chaz shot 4 for 18 in his final game. He was almost like Mark Sears. I saw someone make that parallel. Mark Sears in Alabama, they went out on their last game.
They lost by 20.
Yeah, and so they also had a bad shooting night. These teams that, like Alabama, they rely on their offense to win, and when that gets shut down or they have a bad shooting night, it's over. And for us, we cannot get anything going on offense, and we cannot stop them on defense for some reason.
We started playing a lot better in that second half, but the game was pretty much already decided. Like you said, we saw Duke move on against Alabama by 20. Florida, they were in some choppy waters against Texas A&M.
Yeah, I'm pissed about that.
Yeah. Florida was down by 10 points with 2 or 3 minutes to go.
With 3 minutes left, they were down by 10 points. And then Walter Curry Jr. He comes out,
dude.
He gets a layup. There's this other dude, I think Hammond. He hits 2 threes in a row. Texas Tech gets a layup, and then Walter Curry Jr. comes in, and he has that layup right there. And instead of doing something with it, runs to the 3-point line. That's stuff that you see that Curry was doing in his prime. I'm not saying they're the same, of course, but
that
Curry
was a Curry
doing
shot.
That stuff.
That was a Curry shot.
Absolutely. And he'll give you that look afterwards after he just hit a shot. And I mean, I honestly respect it. I respect it. Like I think he's a great shooter, great player. But Florida will be down with 3 minutes to go, and you're gonna let them. You're gonna choke. That was the biggest choke job I think I've ever seen in this tournament for sure. So
was it not Arkansas the game before?
Yeah, Arkansas was. Yeah, I think that was Texas Tech, right?
Yeah. Like how can you do that and then?
But if you're
let it happen to you?
if you're a team playing Walter Clayton Jr. in Florida, and you see that they've grabbed the momentum back and they have a chance to take the lead, and you see Walter running back to the 3-point line, why is no one guarding him? No one was on him. That's what gets me. If someone puts a hand up or is making it difficult, like how Tennessee did to Bray on Kentucky when they played in the Sweet 16, make it life difficult, then there's the chance that shot isn't going in. Way better than him just being wide open in his bag. But they didn't.
I'm going to be honest,
Texas Tech paid for it.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, though. I don't think anybody in that whole stadium would think that he was about to pull that shot. I think Walter Clayton Jr. was the only one that was like, hold my beer. Let me show y'all something real quick.
I get you, but defense is reactionary. But there was no one to react to that. You know what I mean? He was uncontested, and I totally agree. But if you have someone glued on him, the whole game, and going to the huddle when he's going to, like just making life difficult, then it's a different story probably. And I don't know.
But that sets
sickening.
up Florida with a matchup, SEC matchup. First time 2 SEC teams have met in the Final Four. They'll take on the Auburn Tigers, who jumped out to an early lead against Michigan State yesterday and were able to hold off and win by 5 or 6 points is what the final was. But Auburn and Florida minus 2.5 in this Final Four matchup Saturday, over under 160.5. How do you boys see this game going? Who's advancing to the Natty?
Florida with Walter Clayton Jr. They're advancing.
I hope so. I really want to see
Florida
Auburn lose.
Florida beat Auburn at Auburn's home court. So
there was a time they were up by 20.
Yeah. So I don't think it's gonna be different.
I've said all this whole tournament that whenever Florida runs into a team that's having a good night, Florida might struggle shooting that night. They're gonna be done, and I've been wrong. It's happened a couple times. It happened with UConn. It happened with Texas Tech the other night, where Florida was able to come back and keep advancing. So they're still alive. I don't know. I don't think Auburn. I think Florida matches up better with Auburn than Auburn matches up with Florida.
They're on a 10-game winning streak.
Yeah. You know what happens with winning streaks though? At some point they come to an end.
Yeah. Or they don't. Or the team just stays hot.
Houston is on a 19-game winning streak.
Are they really?
15 or 19. It was either one of those. But
wow.
They're on a big winning streak for sure. I think it's the longest active winning streak in the country.
Well, Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple are about to end that, and it's going to be Duke versus Florida.
So
Duke versus Florida in the national championship.
That other game Saturday, Duke and Houston. Duke is minus 4.5 over under. What is that? 136.5. So a much lower
it's in San Antonio. Houston could pull some crowd.
Yeah,
could make it a little mini
That's
home
true.
game.
Duke is a blue blood though. I'm sure they travel well.
Well, I mean, is Houston a blue blood too at this point?
No,
I don't think can we have that conversation? 7 Final Fours.
No championships though.
I could have sworn they got one.
That was Baylor. Baylor won, within the last 10 years. But
no, I'm talking like in the 80s.
Well, they said yesterday Houston has never
They've
won
never
the
won
national championships. So
Yeah.
but yeah, 7
I
Final
could've thought-
Fours though.
Because
So
I know they had Clyde Drexler in the 80s.
yeah,
So he went to school there. So, I mean.
No, they've been there. Well, it was in 1983.
Oh, yeah.
In 1984.
Yeah.
They faced Georgetown and NC State.
Yeah.
LJ Cryer was on the Baylor team that won just a few years ago when he was a freshman. So he's been to this big stage. He's won at this big stage. But I think Duke. I'd like to see Houston win this game. I'd like to see them shut Duke down defensively. But my national championship pick going into this was Duke and Florida. And I've got Duke winning it all in our bracket, which we'll get to here in just a second.
Jeez.
We have an updated bracket, boys.
Dude, I would have given anything to see Felix Okpara meet Cooper Flagg at the rim.
Dude, yeah, that would have been epic.
I'm not gonna lie, I would have loved to see us make the Final Four, but I do not see us beating Duke. So,
Yeah, honest to God, I love our Vols, but we would have lost by 20.
yeah. It probably would have been pretty. Well, I mean, we lost by 19 yesterday, so
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
hey,
we wouldn't have
Duke and
shot
Florida.
as bad, but
yeah.
I just feel like that kid's unstoppable.
So me and Jacob have Duke and Florida in the Natty. What about you, Griff?
I hate to say it, but I might just say the refs stick with Auburn on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, hey, put Baker Mazzaro on Clayton Jr.
Yeah.
and let's see what happens. Maybe they might start swinging on each other at some point.
Both get thrown out. That'd
Double
be crazy.
ejection.
What about Janai Broom down low against those big guys with Florida?
I feel like he'll have another 15-10 game. Because, I mean, they're going to go back and forth, of course.
Yeah.
But
He started
Florida
out
has
yesterday
like
5 of 5.
Florida has like 4 7-footers
no, yeah.
at least.
It's
I
gonna
feel
be
like it'll be close, but
it's gonna be a great game. I'm
Yeah.
excited for both of these games.
Great basketball. I mean, I hate that it's all chalk, but hey, 4 1 seeds facing each other, it's about to go down. It's gonna be
yeah.
really good basketball.
So with it being 4 1 seeds that make the Final Four, first time since 2008 that has happened. No real Cinderellas this year. Do you think that the top of the competition is just head and shoulders above everybody else, or like why do we have all 4 1 seeds that have made the Final Four?
Well, see, I saw this video the other day, and this dude went back over the last 25 years and did some analysis. There's only been 5 real Cinderellas in the last 25 tournaments.
I saw that video.
So, I mean, it's not like the top is too heavy now. It's always been like that.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, God picks and chooses when he wants Cinderellas to happen.
Yeah, I mean, in the last few years, there's been a few, high seeds. When I say high, I mean like 15s and 16s that have won their first round, but they've not made it that far. I mean, you had St. Peter go to the Elite Eight, and you had, was it FAU?
Yeah.
Go,
oh, no, they made the national or Final Four, yeah.
The Final Four, versus San Diego State. But
that was the actual championship game, yeah.
But that was the Final Four. But regardless, like Griffin was saying, I do agree that we've been spoiled the past few years, but in reality, it's always been like very top heavy, And also, I mean, it doesn't help the NIL, which I do agree with NIL. Like, I do think players should get paid, of course, but Walter Clayton came from Iona, stuff like that, where we're seeing a lot more of these players making their name, like Dalton Knecht going and playing JUCO and then making their route over to the power conferences and the schools in them. And then it becomes top heavy at that point,
Yeah.
I mean, you had Arkansas this year at a 10 seed, but were they really going to be a Cinderella if they made it? I mean, they're from the SEC, the best conference in the country.
With John Calipari.
Yeah,
as
see,
their
they
coach.
wouldn't put a Cinderella name on a John Calipari-led team.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. But, I mean, if you had a 10 seed, like McNeese, that was the only Cinderella. Or, you had the other team that beat Memphis, but they were favored to win. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. there's not been one that made a deep run this year. That's for sure.
And to your point with all the transfers, the starting 5 for Auburn, none of those players started at Auburn. They're all transfers that Auburn has picked up over the last couple years.
Yeah.
Tennessee's going to have to do that too, coming in, because the amount of people leaving.
We've got we got a lot of people leaving. The last 2 years, we've went and found a real nice, addition to our team in Dalton Connect and now Chaz Lanier. So I think Rick Barnes will be able to do that again. He's got a couple nice recruits coming in that'll be freshmen next year. I'll tell you a name that's in the transfer portal right now.
That kid from Virginia?
But he was the ACC's leading 3-point shooter, who you're talking about. But Zakai Ziegler's little brother.
Oh yeah, Armani
is in the transfer portal now. I would love to see Rick Barnes go pick him up. I don't know anything about him other than his last name, and he's a lot taller than Zakai. But
I didn't know that.
If he's got, I think he's like 6'4" or so. But if he's got half the heart that Zakai Ziegler has, bring him on over, dude. Bring him on over. I'd love to see it.
I think Tennessee's strategy going in, we have to get like 4 big men, have 4 complete healthy big men total. This is to make a deep run. Need to have 4 7-footers that are healthy. And then also you have to get 2 players at least. I would think just 2 should be fine. Offense first, offense-minded players. I know defense is very, very important to the culture of Tennessee, but you need to have 2 X-factor players. That was my whole thing coming in this year. I thought our team was the best it ever been, but there was no X-factor. Chaz showed signs and spurts of that, but on a night-in, night-out basis, he went 4 for 18.
Yeah.
So, you need someone like Connect that would rise to the moment, wants the pressure and everything like that. You need 2 people like that, 2 players, and you need a bunch of big men. That's where college basketball is headed to. That's where Tennessee needs to establish. I know it's easier said than done, but there needs to be a little bit of shift, I think, at Tennessee. And we probably would have had 3 healthy big men if JP was playing. But college basketball and basketball in general is getting bigger, getting bigger and taller and faster. So that's what you need to strive for.
Yeah. So we've got our Final Four set. Who do we think's going to be winning it all?
Florida, in my opinion.
I've got Duke.
I'm with either Duke or Florida, but with our bracket, I'm gonna stick with Duke. Speaking of the bracket, Jacob, we've got a familiar name leading the way.
Yeah, Kinsey, good job. Shout out Kinsey. There's a chance that she does not end as the number 1, but I'm rooting for her. I hope she is number 1, of course.
But yeah, if you root for her, then Florida wins. So I don't know if I can live with that.
Well, who's behind her?
So we've got McKenzie leading the way with 100 points, and my friend Cross in second with 99. Those 2 are head and shoulders above the rest.
And it's Duke and Florida too, so either or.
And Cross has the Final Four all correct, so I think he will probably end up jumping McKenzie and winning it all. But in third place, we got my friend Brett, tied with my boss Tehran. And then 5th place, Wakanda Kittens, that's Dylan Moss, tied with Peyton Aiken. Milkman dropped to number 7. He's got a very good bracket, but he did pick Tennessee to win it all. So
my natty picks are cooked.
And then in 8th place, we got Jonathan. 9th, we got Brandon. Griffin rounds out the top 10. Congrats,
Barely.
Griff. And then I'm right behind at number 11, 2 points behind Griff. And then Nick Fine at 12, Amber at 13, Jeremy at 14 and 16 with my friend Kyle at 15. And then my mom, Danny, Jacob, and St. Patino round out the top 20.
Ever since McNeese beat Clemson, my bracket's been cooked.
Bro, since Creighton beat Louisville, my bracket's been cooked.
Yeah, right. I knew it was going to be different.
We started that shit off horribly.
Yeah. So,
awful, dude.
What are y'all's thoughts on the tournament this year? It's been pretty exciting.
It's been exciting.
Yeah.
Every game even the unexpected matchups. I mean, we got Patino versus Calipari again.
Yeah.
Some people didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, it's been a really good
McNeese beating
tournament.
Clemson.
Yeah.
Colorado State losing at the buzzer.
We beat Kentucky in the Sweet 16. Just want to, remind everybody about that. That felt good.
Yes.
The only time we've ever met in the tournament, we are undefeated against Kentucky in the NCAA tournament. So, suck
Dude,
on that. What was his name? Dane Buckner in the TikTok comments.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I have so many freaking Florida people and Kentucky people in my DMs sending me horrible shit.
Our whole culture, the whole basketball culture is improving and changing at Tennessee. Like this was just another step in the right direction. I mean, we improved upon what we did last year. We were able to make the Elite Eight again without an X Factor top player.
Yeah.
And we did it as a team. And that's another Elite Eight we've made. We've made more Elite Eights in the Rick Barnes era than we've ever had before. So the direction is going in the right way. I think we're going to have a good year coming up if we're able to play the portal correctly.
I do want to point out Dane Buckner's comment. He did say after Kentucky lost, he's a Kentucky fan. He did say things about Houston beating Tennessee and us not making a Final Four, but he also said they'll get their lick back this fall.
Yeah, football. Yeah, nice try, buddy.
Yeah.
We'll beat your ass by 40.
At their
That's so funny.
at their grocery store field.
Yeah.
Kroger
Florida fans,
field.
you can
Dude.
talk y'all shit too. I don't give a
Dude, Nico is about to cook Kentucky so hard. It's going to be Kentucky fried barbecue chicken. I'm telling you. I'm sorry, Dane. That's so funny. It's not true. I mean, Kentucky football's not going to win, but hey, I love the enthusiasm, man.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thanks for commenting.
Congrats on Kentucky making the first Sweet 16 in a decade.
Yeah, what, they haven't won a natty in almost 15 years?
Well, we can't talk shit about that.
Look, I would never talk a team that's won a natty. Oh, you've not won a natty in this. Like, they still have won plenty, but when people harp on the past like that, that's how you know that their program has been cooked for the past few years. Oh, we actually have a national championship, but you're not the defending national championship. You've not been out of the first weekend in years. So, I mean,
I will say,
let's get it, Dane.
if you're harping on the past, that means you're not looking forward to the future. So,
and I think both programs that's great. Both programs have a lot of good stuff to look forward to in the future.
Yeah.
So.
Well, boys,
where does this team rank, though? I know we have a little bit of time. Where does this team rank compared to the other teams in Tennessee basketball history?
With us making our third ever Elite Eight, we've only made 3, 2008, last year and this year. I would say definitely top 3. I don't know if I would put this team above last year's team because, like Jacob said, with Dalton Connect and the team we had still had Zakai and Jamai, and
we just had way more depth.
We had more depth. I will say, you put Felix Akpar on that team last year running into Zach Edey. I like our chances a lot more. We only lost by 6, and Zach Edey shot 30 free throws.
Yeah.
So maybe that wouldn't have changed, but I don't know. I think we're definitely in the top 3 with our only 3 Elite Eight appearances. But I would probably still put last year's team above this one, just talent-wise. What about y'all?
I'm the same way, man. I said if y'all do the exercise of putting this year's team with how everyone's improved versus last year's team, given how they were last year, I still think last year's team wins. Like, if you get Chaz on a heater and get his shot going, and you get Dalton Connect's scoring going, I think the team with Connect wins outright.
Yeah.
I'm not saying by a lot either. I'm just saying, like, I think Dalton Connect has so much different ways that he can score. He'll drive it in on you. He'll dunk on you. He'll hit you from the 3. He's very elite, versatile, but also he had the weapons from this year. So that's what I think.
I will say, in the comparison with Chaz Lanier and Dalton Connect, Chaz Lanier, you would need to go on a hot streak. Dalton Connect was just always hot.
Yeah.
Like, pause.
Yeah.
Like there was never a time where I felt like, he was too cold to, pass the ball up. Like if Dalton has it, shoot it, brother.
Yeah.
And
Drive it in.
He wants the moment too. That's what made him so sick. He's a sick man as a player. Like what made him elite like that was like with Chaz, and this no offense to Chaz, he'd be a great role player, but I'm saying when the final seconds are coming in and it's just say it's tied or Tennessee's down or something, are you gonna feel more comfortable with connecting there or with Chaz? I would say connect personally.
Yeah. Well, Jacob, before it kicks you out, let's you got a song choice of the week, $1 Million Radio.
Oh gosh. No, you go ahead.
Well, we're not going to hear from you in less than 50 seconds. So
we'll do Freaking Out, Jackson Avenue.
Okay, there it is.
Hell
There
yeah.
it is. You just took my pick. Jackson Avenue released a song last week. Done a lot. Me and Jacob have both done a lot of work with them. Freaking Out. Go check that out. It's a very, very good song. Happy for those guys and how it sounds and everything.
Oh, yeah.
So Jackson Ave, Freaking Out. That's our two song choices of the week. And we'll say goodbye to Jacob here in about 10 seconds. Thanks for joining, Jacob.
Deuces.
Appreciate it.
See you later.
You have a great day.
Love you, dog.
And Griffin, what about you?
See, I'm going to go with a band that I met last week for the very first time. It's a band that opened for 311 in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
It's called Sitting on Saturn is their name.
Okay.
And they're honestly a little crazy. They've got some, it's like ska mixed with Nirvana-esque type riffs. It's
Okay.
kind of crazy. But the song I'm going to go with is called Chest Hair.
Chest hair. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like my type of song.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty cool. It's got a nice saxophone solo at the end of it.
All
Very
right.
reggae vibey. It's pretty cool.
What was the band name?
Sitting on Saturn.
Sitting on Saturn, song called Chest Hair. Griffin's $1 Million Radio song choice of the week. Well, Griff, you got any final words?
Bob and Bert, I'm gonna miss you, man.
Oh man, how did we not talk about that?
Yeah.
Bob Kessling, Bert Boderkamp both called their last game as the voice of the Vols. We'll have Mike Keith coming in now, a really good guy. A guy I've met a handful of times. Did you know that people were, I don't want to say disappointed in the pick, but
Well, see, my dad was a little disappointed.
well, they were annoyed with the fact that they were gonna have to listen to Mike Keith say one word. Do you know what
Yeah.
that word is?
What's that?
Sack.
Yeah. No, see, I was never an All Access Titans guy.
Yeah.
I could never get into it.
Well, Mike Keith, for those that don't know, the voice of the Titans over the last 10, 20 years, he's done it a long time. It was a big story when he came over to accept the job as the voice of the Vols. A guy going from a professional team to a collegiate level team, but I think it was a great move. I think we're probably the only state that you could do that in, as
Yeah.
far as, going from the professional level down to college, just because of the brand of the Volunteers is so much bigger than the Titans. And that's no offense to Tennessee Titans at all, but it just is what it is. You go across the state, whether you're in Knoxville, Memphis, Nashville, West Tennessee, up in Martin, you're going to see that Power T everywhere you go. Not necessarily the same with the Titans logo, but yeah, so Mike Keith, whenever, the Titans would get a sack, he would scream that word out, and we're gonna hopefully we'll get to hear that a lot going forward. But Mike Keith, now the new voice of the Tennessee Volunteers.
So have they made any, I guess, have there been any rumors about who's going to take over as a second hand for basketball? And then I don't know how baseball works. I haven't really ever heard a baseball call.
No, that's John Wilkerson still.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There was a name. I can't remember who it was. I don't know if they've made an official decision or not, but we have until November to figure that out. So
Yeah.
as the Vols end their season yesterday, 69-50 against the Houston Cougars. So Griffin, I guess that'll do it for episode 26 of $1 Million Radio. And as always, we'll see you next time.